Oh, there we go. We are live.
All right, fantastic. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Rag-NERD-rok actual play. Today we're going to be playing Scum and Villainy. This is our new Patreon campaign. I'm not quite sure yet what we're going to call it. But
Villains and Scum.
Villains and Scum. Good. Very original title.
Thanks.
So I'm Ryan. I'm going to be GMing this session. I'm just getting everybody's character sheets here. So why don't you guys go around and introduce yourselves and your characters, and then we can sort of get into the situation that you guys find yourselves in.
Well, let's go first. I'm posting the links to the game so people can actually watch.
This is Steve, and I'm going to be playing. I am an 8-foot, 16-legged spider. I think that's wrong on my character sheet where I had 19 legs, but I only drew him with 16 legs, so now he's 16-legged. I'm a Xeno. I'm a member of a horrific death cult that worships a terrifying humanoid child. I must... Actually, this sheet, I think she was wrong. Hold on, I need to fix it. But anyway, I must preserve people for my dark goddess as part of my vice, my faith. Let's see. I am a mystic, and yeah, I'm able to use the web sometimes the way, sometimes like a web, and like spins things through it, crawl around on it when I get really freaky, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Mike, you want to go next?
Yes, I am playing Blort. He's a Glurm. Glurm are humongous, 9-foot-tall, 1-ton, giant toad-like entities. They're mostly known for just sleeping and eating, but if they're violent, they flip out and kind of hulk out. Blort is the muscle of the group, and he's kind of dumb.
You said Bort?
Blort. B-L-O-R-T.
Oh, Blort. Okay. That makes sense.
What was your name, Steve? Your character's name?
It is.
Oh, okay.
The first humanoid sound I understood.
How many H's is in
It varies.
Okay.
But 2 for now. There's 4
believe.
A's. There's a capital A, small a, capital A, capital A, capital H, small h, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Ooh, I did not spell that right at all. All right.
Man, that's offensive.
A lot of extra exclamation marks.
I mean, if you want to know my full name, it's actually the vibration created when prey wiggles in vain against the 3rd strand of the 7th octant of my web. So yeah.
So everybody calls you Wiggles.
Yeah, Wiggles.
That works.
That's exactly right.
All right, I guess I'll go. I'm Chris, and I'm going to be playing Yeast. That's yeast, like the stuff you put in bread. He's a brain slug. He looks kind of like a big, long, wet, like you guys know Nickelodeon slime?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like that, but sentient.
Like a what are those things? That mold that can crawl around, slime mold?
Yeah, sort of. And what he does is he lines himself up along the spine of his, I don't want to say victim,
Host.
but whoever he happens to be riding around at the time, and then controls their body. So currently I have 2 small children that rotate between every 12 hours. One of them is purple, and the other one is green. And I think that's it. My vice is information. When these brain slugs get together, they like to kind of touch each other and trade information. And they don't really care what it is. Like, upcoming coup of some government is just as valuable as what color sock someone was wearing. Just as long as it's information.
And does any part of your anatomy protrude from your host's Wiggles? No, excuse me, Yeast?
Yeast, no. I think he kind of has these little spikes that he inserts into the person's spine. And I think that's the only solid part of him. And he tries to stay hidden because there are some people that would probably just rip him off and murder him at the first sight of him.
Okay, so you're outside the body, but like under the clothing,
Right.
Plugging into the spine.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I'm Alex. I am playing the mechanic named Tung. That's just T-U-N-G. He had a bad experience on his last ship, and he's hoping things go better. Although, based on the crew, that's relative. He is human. He's the token human on the crew, it seems. He tends to wear a worn jumpsuit and work boots. He's got lots of grease stains on his face and hands from working on engines and other parts. He has two pets. One is a small drone named Winky, and the other is his sunset lizard named Tumbert that likes to hang out on his shoulder and helps him when he's working on stuff. His vice is gambling. He tends to spend a lot of the money he makes at the Carrick's table.
I'm sorry, what did you say Tumbert was again?
He's a sunset lizard. Think a monkey with a pug face, but covered in scales.
I like monkeys.
Yeah.
Did I mention my guy's the pilot? I think I forgot to say that.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I was going to ask. All right. So before we start this up, we're going with the fact that you guys are all just getting together for the first time, right? You're not a crew as of yet.
I believe so.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
So in that case, it says in the little setup blurb that somebody has possession. Really, the group has possession of the ship already. So who currently owns the Fire Drake?
Not I.
I mean, I guess I'm the pilot. That might make sense.
Okay.
Or yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna say I could have cleared it out. That could be the thing, but I don't have a pilot.
Wait a minute, I have it. Chris, who's your current host?
Oh, I guess I'm riding the purple boy right now.
Oh, it's a child?
They're both children, yes.
Oh, okay. I was going to say your host owned the ship, and then you possessed them, and so now you own the ship.
I mean, I guess it could be a little rich kid.
It's like the Prince of the Empire or something.
Oh, dear.
Oh, we don't know who it is.
Why did this child have a ship? You know, I never thought about it.
All right. So, as previously established, you guys have all been arrested and taken to Isotropa Max. Strangely enough, for crimes that you did not commit, you have been unjustly detained, and you realize that you need to get out of here before the hegemony realizes which crimes you actually did commit. Because those are probably a lot worse than whatever they took you in for. Yeast, the ship that your host was in possession of is currently in impound down on the landing level.
Now, am I in the jail cell? I'm attached to one of these children, right? Or did they discover me?
I don't think they have discovered you. They haven't really. They're a little bit lax here. The prison seems to be a little bit understaffed.
And what about the other host that I usually leave asleep in the ship when I'm not on it? Where's he?
I will turn that one right back to you. So, did they arrest both children and incarcerate them with your host, with you, or is one of them still like in stasis or something on the ship?
I'm gonna say, since they didn't notice that I was a brain slug, they didn't do a particularly good job searching anything, so they didn't notice the other child.
Okay. So if you guys don't have like a stasis pod or something on board, we'll just say that when you withdraw from a host, it leaves them in a severely like weakened state.
Oh yeah, I ride them until they pass out.
So he's probably going to be asleep for the foreseeable future.
And I'm sure I tied it down as a precaution.
You got to make sure that you have constant access to hosts, fresh bodies.
That's right.
But you know that your other hosts and their ship are down on the landing level under impound, and you have the security override codes and the ignition sequence. So if you can get to the ship, you can get off of this station.
All right. So my usual, and I've thought about this already. Actually, my usual plan for when I get thrown into jail is I will detach from whoever I'm hosting, whoever my host is. Often enough, there's there's bars on the cell.
I'm gonna say that there is. It's like an energy field.
Oh, that's no good. I was gonna say I just detach and crawl away, but I'm still stuck then.
And then you abandon your host?
Yeah, I tend to. Well, I'll come back for them if I can, but if I can't, oh well. So, could I like roll skulk or something to see if I can find something to squeeze through?
Well, let's hang on. Let's because we have like a ground situation scene. So,
Okay.
at some point, the four of you got together, and maybe Yeast mentioned the fact that he had an easily accessible ship, and recruited Wiggles and Blort because they looked, real big and imposing, and also Tongue because he needs somebody to do repairs in the engine room. So you guys have hatched a plan, and you're going to escape. So the ground scene that they have is you're in the mess on a normal day, eating food, stretching your legs, getting into fights while the guards watch. But you know that today's the day. The blare of alarms followed by silence. Darkness falls, and it will be a few minutes before anything but emergency lights turn on. In the commotion, a few cell doors spring open. Your gear is safe past a grate and down the hall. The guards are confused, trying to find their way without lights. The drones that back them up are the real problem. How will you get past them and deal with the door leading to your stuff? So just to set the scene for you guys a little bit, I'm going to say that there's like a catwalk promenade around the mess where the guards sort of patrol and can look down on the prisoners while they eat and socialize. The drones do most of the patrolling on the floor of the cafeteria itself. They're armed with stun batons. The guards, who are all wearing the House Malclaith green and black uniform, they have blasters, but they're also kind of bored and not really paying attention because the drones do most of the real work in this situation. They just have to monitor the drones. So as soon as the lights cut off. You can hear the guards, like fumbling above you and like shouting out in confusion. The drones all start blaring orders in their robotic voices. To everybody remain in your seats. No sudden movements. Any sudden movements will be severely punished.
How many people are in the mess hall? Prisoners, I mean.
Maybe about like 40 or 50.
Good.
When you say drones, are these like floating drones? Are they walking robots? What are they?
I'm going to say it looks sort of like the probe droid from Empire Strikes Back. It floats on a repulsor. It does have like a weirdly, like softly glowing green AI core in it. And it's got like little manipulator arms that it can use to shock you or open doors or, drag somebody away when they're knocked unconscious, that kind of thing.
Do I have Tumbert with me, or did they take him away?
I'm going to say they left Tumbert with you.
Good. He's my service animal.
You need him to keep you calm.
Yeah.
You get very anxious when he's not there.
How dark is it?
There's like I know they said it's going to be a few minutes before emergency lighting comes on. It's like cinematic darkness where you can just see like outlines of people. Maybe there's like a faint blue hue that kind of illuminates like the faintest details of faces and silhouettes, but you can't really see clearly.
But there's enough light to make actions. Like we're not in pitch darkness. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, I'm gonna start a clock that measures how long it'll be before the engineers get the main power back on. How long you have to make your move, and I think that's going to be an 8 count.
Okay, so we're in the mess hall, so we have like utensils for eating.
Yeah.
So Tongue grabs his fork and bends the tines into a specific pattern, and then goes and jams it into the reset ports on one of the drones. So I'm going to try to, I guess, hack the drone or rig the drone.
Okay.
I don't know if that would be hack or rig.
So I'm going to say...
Is it hardware or software that you're editing? I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, if you're just doing like a hard reset on it, you just wanted to like set it back to the command prompt, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you can enter orders.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say that's gonna be a risky position.
Yeah.
And standard effect, since you seem like as a mechanic, you would know like exactly how to reset the drone in this way.
And so is that hack or rig?
You tell me. I would accept either.
They're the same, so I'll go hack. So actually, so I have two in hack. So I roll 2 dice and take the higher one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would be a 6.
Okay. So you guys get an extra gambit. You start with 2. So if someone wants to track that,
Is that on the ship that you sent earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll print out that picture and I can keep track of it.
Okay.
As soon as I get it to print.
So one of the drones.
No, do I mark XP for that, or only if I roll 2 6s?
I think that's only if you crit.
Right, and that's double sixes as a crit.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to check. Sorry.
What was the action? Was it risky?
Yeah, it was.
When you roll a 6 or critical on a risky action.
All right, so then, yeah, you mark XP for that. Excuse me. I thought it was only when you critted.
And you would mark that in the column to the right with the insight, prowess, and resolve?
Yeah,
right?
you mark it under the resistance rating that you rolled, that the action fell under. So yeah, Tongue, you go over, you jam the tines of the fork into this drone, and you see it start to cycle through its startup sequence again. After about 30 seconds or so, you're going to be able to give this drone orders.
Cool.
But it's going to take a while for its systems to reset.
Yeah.
So what are the rest of you up to?
Real quick, Alex, delete that because that's for a gambit. For an XP, you have to roll on a desperate action.
Right. Okay.
And it's
way to get my hopes up, Steve.
Sorry.
So did we just get a gambit?
I did get a gambit though.
Yeah, I read that off of the. So on a risky action, you do it, add a gambit to your crew as above.
Yeah.
So we're up to 3 gambits.
So how many drones are there? There's just the one, or
there are a couple patrolling the floor. I'll say there's 2 stairways leading up to the promenade around the outside of the cafeteria. 2 of the drones have moved into position to guard those stairways and keep the prisoners in line. There are 2 more patrolling between the rows of lunch tables, I guess, where the prisoners are all sitting to eat. And Tongue managed to waylay one of those 2. So there's one that's still like hovering along the next row of tables, and there's 2 each by one of the bottoms of the stairway rather.
So setting, or I guess, quick question. So in this prison, would the drones be responsible? Like if the prisoners had to move to a different section, would they do that, or would that be a guard thing?
It would probably be a guard's responsibility.
Yeah. Okay.
But they would use a drone to do it. Like the drone would do most of the interactions with the prisoner, and the guard would be there with the blaster just in case something happened to it.
So like it wouldn't be just so like if I had the drone pretend to be escorting us out to another and stop to another drone, that would be weird. Like there should be a guard there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, like you can spend stress to do flashbacks. So if you want to say like I'm going to flashback to myself like acquiring a guard's uniform, you could spend a stress to do that.
Okay.
Well,
I'd like to flash back.
Okay.
So I'll spend a stress, right? The 1 stress, or
to get a guard's uniform, I'd say that would probably be a 1 stress.
well, so I just want to flash back to me telling Alex's character to do exactly that. Just have a drone lead us out.
Okay. In that case, that's so the amount of stress you spend on flashbacks is determined by how complicated the action is. So yeah, if you guys want to have decided to do that, then that's a 0 stress flashback.
Okay.
So
for another 0 stress flashback, can we have had me tell someone at either any of them, really, any or all of them, that as soon as the lights go out, they should rip the brain slug off the back of my child and throw it into the back of one of the guards?
I
Not
mean,
a fastball special. Then we'll have a guard to escort us out.
I have a way of dealing with a guard if we encounter one. That's why I'm telling him to have the drone lead us. And then you don't have to leave your host behind.
Right.
Should we do a flashback scene?
Yeah, let's flash back to you guys planning this out. So you are all in your cell. It's basically like a bullpen holding cell situation. There are guards and drones patrolling, but if you speak softly, none of them can hear you. And there is whatchamacallit, as I said, like an energy field keeping you contained.
So how are we going to get out of here?
I'm hungry.
So this is the time to introduce something about my character. Because of the way that the translators were programmed, my voice comes out as a vaguely Scottish accent. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Well, Tongue has said that he could make the lights go out. If you can also get a drone to lead us, I can deal with a guard.
Yeah, these drones are easy. I can hack one. I'm gonna need like 30 seconds or so for a system reboot. And then I'm gonna have to give it verbal commands. So maybe a minute.
It shouldn't be a problem. You sure the ship will be ready? I look at what was your name again?
Yeast.
Oh, Yeast. I look at Yeast.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen it since they've taken me in, but as long as they haven't scrapped it or anything, we could always steal another ship. I wasn't too attached to it.
Wiggles looks at you with something approaching splendor in its multi-faceted eyes, its compound eyes, and says, "I believe in you."
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Shut up, humanoid.
Get used to this treatment, Tongue.
Oh, he is.
All right.
All right. So while this thing is, we cut back to the mess during the potential escape. While the drone is shutting down, Blort, you notice that some of the other prisoners around you have started to notice what Tongue is up to, and they look like they're going to start rushing the drone.
All
So
right.
what do you do?
Blort does not remember the plan. What door did we come in? Is that visible? Is there a guard in front of it?
Yeah, the doorway that they use. There's like a lunch service line on the level where you guys are. There's a doorway that leads to the main cell block on the upper level of the promenade. Excuse me.
Like there was something about a grate leading to an armory or old equipment or something.
Yeah. So that is up the stairs past the drones and the guards. They're storing your stuff like right beyond the mess area.
So we came downstairs to get into here.
Yeah.
Sort of. Okay.
They do their best to keep the prisoner areas and the guard areas as separate as possible. Guard and support staff, so that the prisoners can't have access to those areas.
Okay. Well, Blort's going to grab somebody else's lunch tray and then start going up those stairs while he's eating. And if anyone's dumb enough to stop him, is there going to be anything that jumps in front of him or anything like that?
Well, there's the drone that it sparks its shock baton and orders you, halt, return to your seat, remain calm.
All right. As soon as it says that, Blort's skin starts shifting in colors, kind of like a cuttlefish, and just exploding in shapes. And I am going to use a fine martial arts style on this thing, which I call biting. and I would like to attack it.
All right. So I will say, well, you are a 9 foot tall, amphibian monster. So I'll say that'll have standard effect, and it's a risky position move.
All right, and let me see if I want to do anything crazy. Standard effect with a risky move. I can't shift it because it's already risky. Yeah, I'm just going to do a regular attack on this thing. So roll 2d6. And I got a 4, a 3 and a 4. But I did use I was using a fine martial arts style, so doesn't that shift the
effect, I think, up one level. So it's a great effect.
Yes.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna let you choose. You can either suffer a consequence or it'll have slightly reduced effect.
I'll take a consequence.
Okay. In that case, take a level 1 harm, and you can call it stunned. As this thing, like, you sink your teeth into it, but it jams its shock baton into your side, and you feel electricity and pain coursing through your body, which I'm guessing only serves to enrage you further.
It tickles. Is this thing still alive?
It is.
It suffered great effect.
Yeah, you know what? You kind of fall on it, and between your biting and your weight, crashing it into the ground, it is down for the count.
Nice.
So Tongue, you look over and you see that Blort has cleared a path. The drone boots back up and starts saying, awaiting command. But you notice that there are a bunch of people who noticed that you did something to the drone, and they look like they're, picking up their lunch trays. They're going to start swatting at it.
Okay.
And Yeast, you and Wiggles are still there as well.
Yeah, Wiggles hasn't done anything yet. He can pull his weight.
All right, let's go.
What?
That's it.
Yeah, can we just go? The door is open.
Well, here's the thing. You've restarted. Yeah, you've restarted the drone. If you want to go with the access, the drone escort plan, you need to reprogram the drone, or at least rescue it from the angry mob. If you just want to go, then by all means, there's nothing stopping you anymore.
Well, I thought there was guards on the top or something like that.
Well, there are.
But it's very dark. Can they see us, or should we just run before the lights go on?
They're still a little confused.
Well, Blort's going to go up there and talk to them too.
Okay. But what are the rest of you doing while Blort tromps up the stairs?
I'm gonna scurry off past him behind him as fast as I can.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going as well.
I'm gonna grab a fork.
We're just abandoning the drone idea, I think.
The audible was called on the play, so I'm going with it. The new plan.
Gather up the other 50 prisoners. This is a riot.
All right. So in that case, Tongue looks around, curses under his breath, and tells the drone, "New command: incapacitate as many prisoners as possible, excluding myself."
That includes us.
Yeah, well, you guys already ran away and left him there, so.
All right.
Fair
So, what are you using to give it that command?
Hack? I'm programming a machine.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say that's going to be a standard effect, but it's going to be kind of a desperate position.
Yeah.
Because you have to issue that command before this mob overtakes it and starts beating the living hell out of it.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. I rolled 2 3s.
Mark XP.
Yeah, that failed. So does that go on my
That would go on your
attribute? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's on the insights. Did that succeed? That failed, right?
That fails.
Yeah.
So you don't get the command out before this angry mob jumps this thing, and they
Wait, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I get the first part of the command out, but I don't get the excluding me part out.
Well, how about this? I'll let you take a devil's bargain and roll 1 extra dice.
But
you'll get that first part out, but not the excluding me.
Yeah, let's see.
Just 1 die though. You already rolled 2 3s.
That's a 6.
All right. So in that case, this thing comes to life and starts. It lurches toward you on its repulsors, with its charge baton armed. It's gonna try to shock you into submission.
Got it. Oh shit. So I'm gonna scramble out of the way.
All right. That's going to be risky and limited effect because, as I said, there's a crowd closing in on you.
Yeah, and I'm going to take 2 stress for an extra die. So that's 2. That's a 4.
4. All right. All right, I'm gonna say that is gonna take you some time. So I'm gonna mark the lights and powered restored clock, and you're also gonna be in more of a desperate position. So you get out of the way, but you kind of have to shove yourself through the crowd that just converged on this thing to tear it apart. And it's going to take you a few seconds to extricate yourself.
Okay.
So meanwhile, the rest of you, Blort, you're at the top of the stairs, and there's a really shaky looking guard holding a blaster pistol at you, and stop right there! Don't move! Don't make me shoot!
That poor guy. I'm just gonna hold out my hand and look really mean at him to intimidate him to give me the gun.
Just scare him off.
Yeah, which I believe is command.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that that's gonna be that'll be a controlled move. You're not risking very much to do it, but it's gonna have limited effect because he really does not want to give you the gun. It goes against all his training and his instincts of self-preservation.
I guess I can see that. Well, let's see how it turns out.
You may just get him to turn and run, which is still, getting him out of your way, but doesn't give you a weapon.
That's a 6.
All right. So in that case, yeah, he gets really freaked out, but he does not give you the gun. He just turns on his heels and bolts down the promenade.
Before he gets too far, I'd like to reach out into him with the way.
Okay. So what action rating are you using for that?
I'm using side dancing, my ability.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on. The phone is, of course, ringing in this room right when I speak. So I will. I may push myself to cloud a target's mind and sway them. So I'll use sway, I guess, in the face of contradictory evidence. So I'm going to say, I'm gonna scurry up on the roof above Blort, and as this guy's just like about to break and run, I'm gonna say, "Can't you see we're very important people? You've got to get us out of here."
All right.
So I want to sway him that we're like the warden or something.
And he's got to protect you.
He's got to protect us and get us to the ship.
All right. I'm going to say risky position, limited effect, because he is just soaked in fear hormones and rattled up from Blort, intimidating him just there. So you're throwing your weight against a pretty big oppositional force in his drive to get the fuck out of there.
Okay, I will.
So keep in mind, you can always trade position for effect. So if you want to make it like a desperate roll to make it standard effect, you can do that. And then you can always take a devil's bargain or spend stress for extra dice if you need them.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll make it a desperate roll. And I will spin 2 stress to push it. So I'll be spending 4 stress total, I guess.
Okay. So
hold on. Also, the ability says for spend 1 stress for each additional feature of my basically what I'm convincing them of. So I'm basically convincing them that we're very important people. They must protect us. So is that 1 or 2?
I would say 2. That's okay, 2 parts. You're prison administration, and he has to protect you.
All right, let's see. I rolled a 5. Was the highest. 5, 3, 2.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. I'm gonna mark some more segments of the lights and power restored clock, because he does sort of freeze, and then he turns slowly around to look at all of you as he kind of takes this new information that you are VIPs, and there's a riot happening, and he needs to get you out of here. So it's going to take a little extra time for him to realize that he has to what you want him to do and actually start to do it. So he's going to need like a second.
Okay.
But he like walks up to you slowly and says, gentlemen, please follow me. We have to get you out of here. This is turning into a dangerous situation. And he leads you down the corridor toward the locker where all of your gear is being stored.
Where's Tongue? Is he still down there? Can we see him from where we are?
You look down and you see him. He just like the prisoners are starting to fight. They have taken down that one drone, and the second drone that was patrolling is starting to shock people. You see Tongue kind of like shove his way out of the throng of people, and he starts to run toward the bottom of the stairs, but he doesn't look like there's anything in his way.
All right. Well, Blort doesn't remember who's who, so he's going to yell at all of them to come up. Let's go. Is that a roll you want me to make, or is that just a thing that I can do?
If you're gonna try to get the rest of the prisoners to follow you, then that's gonna be a roll. Yeah.
Okay, I want to do that.
All right. I'm gonna say that's limited effect because there is a riot sort of starting. And it's gonna be well, I would say controlled, because you're not really risking much. If they don't listen to you, then they keep rioting down there, and you walk away or whatever. So controlled
Okay,
position.
That's a command roll.
Yeah. Well, whatever you say. If you just
I'm not trying to make friends. I'm like, hurry up.
all right.
I got a 4 and a 2.
Okay.
Just want some red shirts on our pirate ship, you know? Just some guys.
Not a bad idea. All right. I'm gonna say that since you rolled a middling success on a limited effect roll, you only get like 2 or 3 people. They notice they're sort of at the outskirts of the crowd. They see that there's an opening. The drone guarding the stairs is down, and they start following Tongue up the stairs. Good.
Well, I'm going to keep, I guess all of us are probably going to keep going towards the next door. Is there another guard there?
There is, but so it's pretty much a straight shot here along the catwalk to the door that leads out of the mess. There's a it's kind of like a T junction. The right fork leads out of the mess into the main cell block area. The left leads along the far wall of the mess. 2 of the guards have kind of congregated there to like they're trying to figure out what in the hell's going on. They can't really see what's happening down below, but the lights are out. It's dark, and people are starting to get rowdy.
Which direction was our loads at?
To the right.
Okay. And did you say 1 guard there?
2.
2 guards there. And is it like a regular door, or is it another one of those like repulsar field type things?
Well, there's a regular door that leads out into the cell block.
Mm-hmm.
The gear is behind an actual door, like a security cage.
Okay. And can we see that from where we are, or is that in another area?
Right now, no, you can't see it. But here's the issue, though. In order to hack into that area, you're going to need to be like in full view of the guards. The lights are still not on, but they may, notice that something's going on.
All right. Well, I'm just going to charge both those guards.
Okay.
Screaming the whole time while I go towards them. And there's 2 guys. I just want to if I were to use my unstoppable ability, which allows me to perform a feat of physical force that verges on superhuman, can I just run over there and just like knock them both right off?
Yeah.
Okay. And that would be scrap, it's safe to say.
Yeah, if you're using scrap, I'm going to say standard effect, risky position.
Okay, and I'm using my fine martial arts style, which brings the effect up.
To great.
And would you guys mind if I used a gambit to take out 2 guards while we're unarmed?
Go for it.
All right, let's give it a shot. A 2, a 2, and a 6.
Okay. So yeah, just as you described, you charge down the catwalk at the guards. They see you coming way too late, and you just sort of scoop them up and toss them over the side into the waiting throng of prisoners.
Can I spend a stress to make our guards see it as prisoners that he's done this to?
Sure. You kind of have a foothold in his mind, so.
Or I can roll a tune if you'd prefer.
No, I don't want to make you roll for that. You've brain fuckled him enough that spending the stress to give him a little extra nudge, so that he sees what you want him to see is acceptable.
Cool.
So he his eyes kind of go wide at that, and he says, "Follow me. I'll get you to the safe room."
No, we're going to our ship. Follow him. And I point at the child. But first, we need our gear. To
I'm gonna
follow him,
wave
I
when I
point to
get
the
pointed
tent.
at.
Wait, oh, you're gone?
Have I caught up with them?
Yeah, you're coming up the stairs. There are two or three, let's say three, folks in prisoner uniforms who are following you up the stairs.
What happened to the drawing plan, guys?
I just followed the big guy. He seemed to know what he was doing.
All right, if you're gonna change the plan, could you tell me next time?
I didn't change it.
Huh?
I walk in the armory and grab my gear.
All right. So I'll say the guy opens the door for you. So you guys can choose your loadout now.
Well, we're prison breaking, right? So I'm gonna go heavy.
Yeah, everyone go heavy. No one needs to look nonchalant. Just nonchalantly walking out. As you can see, I don't have a gun. I must be a good guy.
All right. While you guys are loading up, right before you turn to head toward the landing bay, you see something. I gotta find. You guys see, or in a second. You guys see. So when the power went off, the prison is rigged so that heavy security doors slam shut over the prisoners. You see that in one of the cells down the main block, there's someone who is trying to make a break for it, who was crushed by the security door. And another prisoner in the cell seems to be shouting for you, Yeast.
For me?
Yeah.
Do I recognize this other prisoner?
Yes, you do. Her name is Jana Hex. She is one of the gearheads from the Echo Wave Riders, who helped you modify the. What do we say that they helped you with?
Engine things. Oh, I think it was the graviton.
The gravitic generator. So Yeast.
So is this a person that would be useful, or is this a person that's going to want us to pay them back?
Well, what she is saying is, Yeast, get me the hell out of here! You owe me, you motherfucker!
I guess she's below us.
She's on the same level as you guys. It looks like the blast door of her cell has sort of crushed and killed one of her cellmates who is trying to get out. But there's a little bit of space underneath. So, if you had, say, a big, strong person, they might be able to lift it or break it.
Ah. All right. So I'll nudge. No, Blort. Excuse me. It's Blort is the big one.
Yes.
Hey, Blort. Go open that door. Let that lady out.
Okay. And I guess damn, this sucks. I'm going to spend 2 more stress and try to rip that thing right off the hinges.
Okay.
With my unstoppable ability. I need to be specific.
Yeah. And what are you rolling for that?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question, isn't it? I guess it would be scrap.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? It would have to be a prowess thing, wouldn't it? It wouldn't
Yeah,
really
I
be.
think so. I think so.
I could just roll prowess.
What about rig?
You don't want me to roll rig.
Okay.
Well, that's the kind of way the way this game works. You tell me what action rating you're using, and I tell you how likely it is that will actually be effective. If you wanted to tell me that you're going to attune the door open, that would probably be 0 effect. But
well, would you in a situation that would be more like just a regular stat check, if that is even in this game, would you actually use the combined thing like prowess? Because you use prowess to like resist physical damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the resistance ratings are pretty much just that for resisting consequences.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll my scrap to bash down that door.
Okay,
Yeah,
and I'm going to
scrap
say
includes assault or hold a position. I mean, assault a position. Moving stuff.
So yeah, that makes sense. So that's going to be standard effects, and you have level 1 harm, right? So that reduces your effect.
No, I guess yeah, it does have less effect. You're right.
So you're working with limited effect because you're still in a lot of pain from that bolt that you took, the shock from the shock baton, and that's going to be a risky move.
All right, I'm just going to roll, and there's a 4 and a 1.
All right. So in that case, I'm going to mark off 2 more segments. It takes you a couple of seconds, but you do get the door open enough that she scrambles out of her cell, and then you drop it, cracking the spine of the man who you didn't realize was still alive and is now no longer alive.
Nope, I don't even notice that.
So I look at this person that we just freed, and I look right at her and I go, "We're even."
Yeah, fine, right, whatever. Just get me out of here. And she like starts looking around.
No. Then you owe me.
She looks at you and she says, "We'll talk about it later. Let's just move." Tongue,
Sounds like you're agreeing. All right, let's go.
Whatever it is that you set up to cause this power outage, you're starting to feel like maybe you should hurry up and get to the shuttle bay, because it's whatever it is, it's not going to last much longer. They're going to get main power up, and then they'll have security and Overwatch, and they'll be able to spot you guys and lock you down.
All right, well, yeah, then let's keep moving.
So the shuttle bay is behind. It's in the guard and support staff area. In order to access this, you need a biometric key and a voice print, which, since you have brain fuckled a guard, you easily have. So he gladly opens the elevator for you, and you all clamber inside. The elevator ride. The elevators are still operational, miraculously. I guess they weren't on the same circuit that you used.
How cramped is the elevator?
Well, there's the 4 of you, the guard, Jaina, and the 3 prisoners who followed you out. So you're pretty well, you're pretty well crammed in there. I am going to say that the elevator doors open, and you see where the shuttle bay should be are two enormous blast doors that have clamped shut to keep the atmosphere inside, because the repulsor fields that they usually use powered down. So if you guys want to get that open, if you want to escape, you're going to have to get that open.
Wait, so the shuttle bay is in vacuum?
No, it's not. The force field powered down, and much like the holding cells, basically two giant metal doors.
Oh, okay. So the force field was where these doors are, but the force field powered down. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. There are also
the backup keep people out.
There are also a squadron of guards posted at the other end of the shuttle bay, and you catch sight of your ship. Yeast. It seems to be you have the override code, but you need to get those shuttle bay doors open, and you also need to get past the guards if you want to escape. So, what do you guys do?
I guess I'm going to try to get those doors open.
All right. You see that there's like a docking station, a flight control and docking station that's being guarded by two guards, where the controls would be.
When you guys get rid of those guards and I can get those doors open.
Well, how far away are the guards?
I'm going to say maybe like 30 or 40 yards or so. It's a pretty big open space, being that they have numerous shuttles.
Did you say there are 30 or 40 of them?
No, yards.
Oh, okay. Yards. Okay.
Yeah. It's like a big open shuttle bay.
How grouped up are they?
It looks like there are two guarding the docking station, which is like up a flight of stairs, and it sort of overlooks the entire shuttle bay. Most of them are just sort of like milling around, and there are a couple that seem to be talking to a hegemony officer who is trying to get them to do something with some emergency supplies.
Okay. Is there like lots of like boxes and stuff or whatever to hide behind?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of waist high walls and crates and stuff for cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna take cover behind something large.
Like a video game designer laid out this room.
That's what I was thinking of. And I will reach into my space pocket and pull out a heavy blaster and shoot at somebody.
All right. Who are you aiming for? The guards by the stairs, the ones that are just sort of milling around, or the ones helping the officer with the crate of emergency supplies?
I'll shoot the officer if I can.
Okay, sure.
And I think I have to look it up. Does the heavy blaster have potency or something? There's a reason it costs 2 ticks, I feel like.
Let me see.
Rather than just a regular blaster, you know? Like, I feel like potency is a thing I read in this book.
Yeah. So that gives you blaster pistol, 66. Hang on a sec.
No, I think this is a heavy blaster.
Yeah.
I've got both things listed on mine separately.
I know it's illegal. I vaguely remember reading the stats. But it wouldn't be illegal unless it was better.
All right, that's terrible indexing there. Heavy blaster, also 66.
I got it. Can do some considerable damage to vehicles and things like unshielded doors. Has about a dozen shots. Will do serious and messy harm to people. Illegal.
All right, so yeah, that will definitely give you potency if you're shooting a guy with it.
Cool. I'm going to do that.
So that's going to be controlled position. Great effect.
All right, I'm rolling, and I rolled a 1 and a 4.
All right. So the officer who was, standing issuing orders is completely vaporized by the heavy blaster slug that you fire at him. He's gone, like just completely like he never was there.
This is like that weapon in District 9. Just like explode people and turn them into goo.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah.
He was his molecules like went directly from solid to plasma and then evaporated. So he's just
Nice, yeah.
he's just not standing there anymore. I will say though that because you rolled a middling success, all of the guards turned toward where you were shooting from. Having seen the enormous bolt of plasma that you just shot at him, and they start taking cover and shooting at you.
Makes sense.
I'm not gonna make you dodge or anything because you said you took cover behind something large. The rest of you, on the other hand,
Well, do they see the rest of us, or are they all just? You said they're all shooting towards him.
I mean, they're all shooting in the general direction that you guys are in.
He took off. He took off, right? He ran ahead away and then shot.
He did run a little bit away, but you know how accurate stormtroopers are with their blasters.
Oh God, it's everywhere.
Might get hit by accident.
Yeah.
We're more likely to be hit by accident than on purpose.
That's basically what I'm going for here. So there are blaster bolts like flying everywhere. So what do you guys do?
I pull out my precursor artifact.
Jesus.
Yes.
So it says precursor artifact, a small object made of ancient materials. Precursor tech. Was this given to you by the mystics that trained you, found as a child, or something you've picked up on your travels? What does it do? Discuss its powers, costs, and side effects with your table.
Right. So we never really talked about your precursor artifact, did we?
No.
All right. So what do you
So
want
is it
to do?
a specific one?
Well,
I always have the same precursor artifact, or like, is it a? I don't know.
No, I believe it is always the same precursor artifact, but you can since you're basically creating it now when it came up for the first time.
I mean, I would assume it's as a judgment call as to what it could be like or how powerful it is. I think they're kind of insinuating like a lightsaber.
Yeah. That's
I think
one of
that would be my fine melee weapon, but okay.
That's one of the examples they give. So I think if I'm remembering the Mystic build correctly, you can get like a Psi Blade, which is basically just a sword that you give a little extra oomph for with your way powers. And a lightsaber is like a special ancient technology that is actually a plasma sword. That nobody really knows how it works. It was just handed down from the precursors. But yeah, you basically say what it is and what you want it to do, and then the rest of us kind of decide like what the drawbacks are and what it costs you to use it.
Okay, looking at these examples, that's not exactly what I was thinking. So let's retcon that. I won't pull that out.
Your religious artifact's not going to help.
Weird. Go figure.
I want to think a little bit more about what that will be. All right. So instead, I would like to scurry up the way and skulk around behind these the guys who are up on the catwalk and maybe attack them from behind.
Okay.
So I'm using my Xeno ability to do 2 stress to myself to climb the way as if it were a web.
Cool.
And then I'm going to skulk at them.
Sounds good. This is going to be a risky move, standard effect, because they are focused on Blort and shooting the hell out of the crate he's crouching behind.
Can I get a devil's bargain?
Sure. What kind of devil's bargain did you have in mind? Do you have an idea for one, or you need me to come up with one?
I was wondering what my option would be.
It's basically just a story complication that you introduce, like, So, like, one of the things I would say is you went to all the trouble to rescue Janna. Maybe she gets struck by a stray blaster bolt because there's just blasters firing everywhere.
You said the lights were about to come on. Maybe they come back on, and because of my weakness,
it's super bright in the shuttle bay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to go on a blood rage, basically, into a blood rage.
Okay.
All right, I'll take that one. So yeah, while you're climbing the raw way over to these guards, the lights pop on, and they're like floodlights that light the shuttle bay completely. So that leaves you disoriented and enraged.
So I'm also going to spin that gambit I just generated. And I'd like to trade. What is it? Position for what is it? Something for effect.
Position for effect. So you're making it a desperate move.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Let's do this. I rolled a 6.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah, you land behind these two guards, and they kind of like turn in shock to face you, and you bat one of them away with your giant spider limbs. One of them's still on his feet, however.
Just to be clear, there's no like critical failures on a regular roll, because I also rolled 2 1s. That doesn't matter, right?
No, as long as you succeed.
Okay.
If your highest result is a 1 to 3, then it's a fail, and if you roll more than 1 and there's no other success, then
okay, cool.
So how about the rest of you? Blort, you're kind of pinned down by fire. Tongue, it looks like Wiggles has taken out one of the guards in your way. The blast doors are still closed.
Can I get to the controls, or are there still guards there?
Between you and the controls are one guard and Wiggles.
So why don't you let me shoot that one guard, and then you can try and make it to the controls.
Sure.
All right. So, Ryan, I'm going to make the argument, as I might often for the rest of this game, to roll helm for this, because I'm piloting this small child to do it for me. And it did say in the book that helm can be used for controlling wild animals that you're riding. So I didn't think of this by myself. I read that and said, oh, I could use this for everything then.
He's like a role-playing genius.
I'm gonna say if you're just relying on your ability to manipulate the kid's reflexes, it's gonna have reduced effect. If you're not actually using a skill that you possess.
That would be scrap, right?
Yeah, that would be scrap.
Yeah, I'm going to go with helm anyway, because I don't have anything in scrap.
All right. So that's going to be a risky position, limited effect.
All right.
And you can always trade position for effect if you need to, or
That would make it desperate, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a better effect. What if it's desperate and I fail? It's a worse consequence.
Yeah, basically the consequences are a little worse.
But you mark XP for rolling a desperate action.
All right, I'll do that. I'll make it desperate.
All right.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2 dice here. 2 5s, so 5.
All right. In that case, so you managed to knock out that guard, but your blaster bolts again attract the attention of the other guards, and you get shot. So take a severe harm.
Severe harm.
Smoking blaster wound.
As soon as I see the child get shot, I fly into my rage and jump through the air at whatever guard just shot at him.
All right. So before we move on to that, Yeast, or sorry, Chris, if you want to, you can make a resistance roll to reduce the level of harm that you take.
I think yeah. Why wouldn't I do that?
All right.
It seems like a good idea.
The way this works is you take 6 stress in order to reduce it, but you get to lower that number by the highest number you roll on the resistance roll.
Okay.
So it's prowess that you're rolling.
And that would be if I've got 2 in helm and 1 in skulk, that makes my prowess 2, right? The ones to the left of that bar?
Yeah, the ones to the left of the bar.
Okay. So I rolled a 5 again.
All right, so you take 1 stress and you reduce your harm to level 2 harm. And I guess call it where do you want to get shot? Shot in the arm.
Yeah, sure.
What happens when your stress fills up?
Chris, you
take a trauma and exit the game.
Yeah.
Chris, you've got your 6 heavy. You could also say you're wearing armor and check that off, and I think that might reduce effect more.
I did say that I was wearing my fine customized spacesuit because I heard things about a vacuum. Does that reduce anything? I'm sure that's...
Well, no, the way this game works is you check them off as you need them.
As I need them.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can uncheck all the things I checked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you only check off what you use. Excuse me, I didn't explain that.
All right, so far I've only used the blaster.
All right, so if you say that you're wearing your armor, then you can erase that 1 stress and just check the armor.
Okay.
And
I'll do that.
And that, I think, negates the consequence entirely.
Okay, so I just check the armors off. All right.
So there's a box on your character sheet that says...
No, I see where the armor is.
Yeah, so you just check that, but that means that you can't use that to absorb any more hits.
Okay.
So Wiggles, you see Yeast get shot, and that drives you over the edge. So you're leaping at the guards that shot him.
Yeah, but first I'm pulling out my fine melee weapon. So it's basically it looks like a ball at first, but I pull it with most of my arms. So now I'm clearly a spider now. Till now I've been apparently a humanoid.
Okay.
Wait, he's a spider?
It just totally shock you guys. I totally looked like a humanoid up until this point. No, I'm kidding.
He was wearing that hat.
So when I look like a humanoid, basically 3 of my legs, I kind of fold them together, and they look like really stocky legs, and then 3 of my arms, I fold them together. So I have 3 fingers kind of at the tips. And anyway, so I grab this ball of something out of my robes, and I pull it out, and it's basically concertina wire that that now is there's a web-like thing between my 8 arms or how many arms I'm using with it.
Oh dear.
And I jump at this guy with that in front of me and basically just land on someone, and we'll just do a fine dice real quick.
Yeah.
So it's a fine melee weapon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's great effect. Risky position, and you're using what to do that? Scrap.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, great effect. Risky position.
So how many gambits do we have left? We have 2 left, right?
I believe so, because you generated one and then spent one.
I think we have one because I used one.
Okay.
No, but we
have 1 gambit left. We spent 2 of them.
Yeah, but I
generated
generated one just now
one. We
because
spent 2, so we're down to 1.
Yeah, but I just generated the one that I spent because the lights came on, and that's my weakness. Allows me to generate a gambit by taking out a arm.
Okay,
so,
then 2.
So 2.
Yeah. I didn't realize we got one there.
Because Alex had generated one earlier. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Does anybody mind if I spend one?
No,
go
for it.
ahead.
So I'm going to go ahead and spend one of those.
Oh, so we're back down to 1.
Now we're down to 1. I rolled a 3.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So this guy sees you coming, and he calls you by name. Strange how people do that. And he, you do manage to do a fine dice, but he gets you. He wings you with a blaster bolt on your abdomen, or your thorax, whatever you call it on a spider. So that's going to be level 2 harm. Just a flesh wound, I guess.
Okay, I will try to resist, I guess.
All right.
Spend your armor too.
Yeah, if you want. You can...
How do you spend armor?
You just tick it off.
Yeah, you check that you're wearing your armor, and then you also check the armor box that you absorb the hit.
And does that take the whole hit, or?
I believe so. Yes.
I just double checked.
I'll do the armor.
I think the words were avoid one entire consequence or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you land on this guy and separate him into segments. You are, however, now like right in the middle of they're down to 3 guards in that throng. So we haven't talked to Blorg in a while. Blorg, you're
at all.
Sorry.
I throw Alex to go do something.
All right. So Tongue, you're running up the stairs past the shot and battered guards that Steve and Chris just took care of. So
yes.
You get up to the control room. There is a terrified looking hegemony tech kind of crouched under the desk, looking up at you with desperate pleading eyes, and she says, please don't hurt me. I don't want to die here.
Hey, no, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to open the doors. Just show me which panel opens the doors.
She points with one like shaky finger.
Okay. Yeah, see? That's it. Tumbert, dance for her. And I'm going to go open the doors while Tumbert does a little dance for the terrified woman.
He does like a little soft shoe routine that you trained him to do, and she just sort of stands or huddles there aghast, watching as he dances.
He is really good. It's what she'd be aghast.
So you go over to the control panel. and it looks like a pretty standard, hegemony shuttle bay controller, with the unfortunate consequence that you are in a prison, and it looks like it needs some kind of override code.
Yeah. I'm gonna check off my fine hacking rig.
Okay.
Which gives me, what is it? I was looking at it. Visualization goggles, unpublished exploits, overclocked non-market chips, optical vampire taps. Ooh, I don't know what those are. But I think that gives me, I don't know what checking off this does actually.
I think if you use it, it gives you increased effect, which is
The operative word is that it's fine, so it does.
Yeah.
It gives increased effect.
Okay, so I'm gonna hack the door open.
Okay. I'm going to say that is going to be risky position, but great effect.
Okay. So let's see. Hack. Nah, I don't think I need to get. You know what? It seems like getting these doors open will be good, so I'm going to push myself before I roll.
Okay.
So I'll roll 3 dice just to be safe. Ooh, that's a good thing. 2, 3, and a 5. So
Nice.
5.
All right. So because you rolled a 5, you managed to override the override code. And you now have
number 2.
You now have access to the system. You start to open the door, the blast door,
Yeah.
but you realize that the repulsor shield keeping the atmosphere in the shuttle bay has not yet been reactivated. So there is.
Wait, you said the shuttle bay wasn't in vacuum.
It's not, because the blast door is closed.
Right, but we're not in the shuttle bay. The shuttle bay is on the other side of the door.
The blast doors were like blocking the shuttle bay from the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought the blast doors were blocking us from getting into the shuttle bay, and the shuttle bay was on the other side of the doors and was working.
We can go back and retcon if you want.
In that case, can I, instead of getting the doors open, can I turn the repulsor shield back on first?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I want to use that roll to do. I misunderstood what the layout
of
the area was.
You got great effect too.
Yeah. All right. So it's gonna take you some time because you have to do the override code.
Right.
So that's what's that's going to be basically what you're up to for a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, so Blort,
Yes.
you notice after cowering behind a stack of metal crates for a few seconds that the amount of blaster bolts striking the other sides seems to have been significantly reduced.
All right. Well, I should probably do something then. Is there a group of 2 or more standing within like explosion distance of each other anywhere?
Yeah, the ones that are that were helping the officer that you demolished have started to like make their way. They dropped the crate of emergency supplies that they were carrying, and they are taking cover behind. Looks like a smaller ship that's powered down.
How far away are they, by the way? Like,
they're a little bit farther, maybe like 50 or 60 yards.
All right. I'm pretty far away from everybody. I want to try to like change position.
Okay.
Like scramble somewhere.
All right.
To get like within closer range of somebody. These guys, anybody.
Okay. So I'm going to say that's a risky move, but standard effect because the people who were shooting at you are now concentrated on Wiggles, who has just jumped into the middle of them.
Okay, and I'll spend 2 stress to try and give myself an extra die. I got a 5.
Okay. In that case, so you charge across the floor. You spot some like metal drums, some big barrels that are stacked across one edge of the next to one of the shuttles. Excuse me, and you just charge for them. I'm going to say that your next roll is in a desperate position because you basically charged across, and they saw you. They didn't hit you, but they know exactly where you are right now.
That's cool.
But you make it.
All right, somebody else can take a turn.
All right. In that case, let's go with Yeast. What are you up to?
I guess I'll just shoot another one of these guards.
Okay. So there are 3 now that are on Wiggles.
Yeah, I guess I should go for one of them.
Sorry, there are 2 on Wiggles because he diced one of them.
All right. Well, I'll still try and help.
One of them is literally on Wiggles.
Yeah. Stuck in the concertina wire.
And on the wall, on the floor, on a lot of boxes.
But neither one of them seems to be a more immediate threat to Wiggles than the other.
Well, they're both one of them is rearing back because he was really close to the guy that Wiggles just chopped up, and the other one is turning his blaster rifle on or his blaster pistol, excuse me, on Wiggles.
So I'll go for the one that's aiming for him.
About to shoot him. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're rolling your scrap or your helm again?
I'm gonna go with helm.
All right. So limited effect. Risky move.
Okay.
Risky position, rather.
I got a 6.
All right. You shoot him. Wiggles, one of the guys who's just about to open fire on you is struck in the chest with a blaster bolt and knocked off his feet. The other guard, she looks like she's just finding her feet, and she's going to bring her gun up to shoot you. So what do you do?
Is the one that was knocked off his feet dead, or?
Yeah, it looks like he's down for the count.
You know, I am gonna whip out my precursor artifact.
Okay.
I think it's a, and we can discuss it, but I think it's obviously, some kind of would be good. Some kind of orb or something that emits a light, and anybody who is in a certain radius that sees the light is basically locked into a stasis. So I think this is how I put things into stasis for my goddess.
Okay.
And then it just allows me to kind of drag them along tethered to this orb and place them in wherever my web is eventually.
All right.
So it basically just surrounds them like a spider cocooning a victim in this web that's translucent and made of whey, basically made of the whey.
All right. So I'm gonna say that the glitches in this thing. It requires a connection to the way in order to function. It usually charges up from the ambient energy around, and that takes about 12 hours, I'll say. in order for it to get like a full charge, where you'll be able to keep somebody tethered and in suspension and like drag them around for a good amount of time before you need to wrap them up in webbing or something else to restrain them. The glitch is that sometimes it draws all of the life energy out of the person that you're trying to tether and recharges itself that way, in which case you get an immediate recharge, but the person you're trying to put in stasis is left very barely alive and very vulnerable.
Yeah, these things happen.
Okay.
And the other question I have for you is, how common is that?
I'd say it's unique.
Okay. So you have one of the only ones out there.
Yeah. I think I stole it from the priestess of my people when I consumed her in order to gain her power with the way.
So I'm going to say, what are you rolling for that?
A tune?
A tune works.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm going to say risky position, but great effect, because you have a unique way artifact that you're using.
Okay. 3 and a 4. So
okay.
4.
All right. In that case, I'm going to say that if you want to keep this person alive and well, you're going to have to defend them until you get to the ship. Like if you're actually keeping this person preserved as part of your religion and you want him for that purpose, he's basically like a liability because he's following you around like a zombie.
Okay.
So that's your complication there. Let's see. Tongue. You punch in the codes. You just about get the shield powered up, and the blast doors start retracting. So that's going to take. I'm going to start a clock for that. 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so I have an ability, Tinker. When I work on a clock with rig or hack, or when I study a schematic, I fill +1 segments.
Okay.
So would that start more filled because I was using hack before?
Yeah. You know what? I'll tick off 2 segments for it. So you guys basically have, I guess, 2 more rounds. Let's call it. Before the blast doors are fully open and you can actually take off in the fire drake.
Can I use my? Can I try to speed that up?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to modify the program to remove the safety system for the door.
So you're basically just going to break the door.
Yeah, like it'll open faster and probably break. It might not be able to close again.
Yeah, but it'll be open. I get you. Okay, so that's going to be a controlled position, standard effect.
Okay, hack. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, you tell me. I assumed you were using hack.
I'm gonna use hack. That's a 4.
4. All right. So that makes it go a little faster.
Can I only use my fine hacking rig once, or can I use that again now that I've checked it off?
I believe you can use it again since you checked it off. You're carrying it with you.
Yeah, so I would have used that then, so that would have given me increased effect.
All right, so that's so these you hear like a squealing of metal and sparks fly from the shuttle bay entrance as the blast doors basically like tear themselves off their tracks opening. The machinery is clearly broken, but the doors are open all the way, and you can now board your craft and take off. However, you realize that you have tripped an alarm that will be visible throughout the station. So you have to get out of here very quickly before people converge on the landing bay.
All right, come on, Tumbert. Fun's over. Guys, gotta go.
Tumbert scrambles up your arm and onto your shoulder as you run down the stairs.
Hey, I have a thing in my inventory called a detonator.
Okay.
Is that like a remote mine?
Hang on a sec. You're the pilot?
Yeah.
It's a space hand grenade. It's like a thermal detonator from Star Wars.
Extremely deadly explosive weapon, fits in the palm of your hand. It can be thrown. Takes care of those shielded doors that heavy blasters can't handle. Illegal. You shouldn't have this. No, really.
Oh, so pull the pin and throw it and it explodes, not leave it there and then when the guards run up, detonate it?
If you have any kind of a rig or a hack ability, I would let you set it up that way, but it's not meant to work that way.
Okay. Then I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just run toward the ship.
All right. What are you guys doing with the rest of the party? The 3 prisoners, Jaina, and the hegemony guard that you brain-fuckled.
My opinion is if they follow us, good for them. If not, oh well.
Okay.
I'm grabbing both of them and jumping into the ship.
Okay.
I wasn't going to give them the choice.
Yeah, I mean they should just all get on the ship.
They're going. I'm going to say that Jaina and the two prisoners, the 3 prisoners, excuse me, are running across to the ship. The hegemony guard is just kind of standing there, slack-jawed, trying to figure out what in the hell just happened. And there are still 2 guards that are kind of blocking your way, Blord.
Okay. That's not a problem. I'm going to jump out, and I'm going to attack them both with my fine flamethrower.
Okay.
And I'm going to sacrifice my special armor to push myself, and I'm going to scrap with them.
Okay. So you were in a worse position from before, so that would have been risky, but now it's desperate. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that has a great effect. But you still have your wound from before, so that's standard. Okay.
All right, I'm all right with that. I got a 4, a 3, and a 5.
Okay. All right. In that case, you managed to take both of them out, but they just pump rounds into you before they go down. So you're gonna have a severe consequence, level 3 harm.
I'm gonna spend armor
to negate that. All right. So the bolts bounce not harmlessly off of your armor. They basically tear your armor to shreds, and leave it barely hanging off of you as you sweep the flamethrower across these two hapless guards and light them up.
That's rough. That's a rough way to go.
Yeah. So they run a few paces. One of them just falls over dead and burns. One of them is a runner and he's not giving up. He is, however, not attacking you anymore. So he runs around burning harmlessly. So you all get onto the ship. It looks like with the override codes you have, it shouldn't be any difficulty to start up the engines and take off. So I'm going to say I'm going to need a roll to see how smoothly that goes from East.
All right.
And we don't have to worry about them closing the blast doors on you because Tongue broke them.
Ah.
That's good.
Is this the main ship or is this a shuttle?
I'm going to say it's the main ship because they have a big landing bay area.
All right. Well, I'm gonna use. I'm gonna push myself. I'll spend 2 stress.
Okay.
Get an extra die out of this. And I got a 4.
4. Okay. So you get the systems powered up and online. You take off and you zip out of the shuttle bay, but the Isotropa prisoners, the Isotropa guard staff does manage to get a tractor beam active on you. So it's taking all of the thrust that your engines have just to keep you in one position. So what do you do?
Can I shoot the tractor beam? Not the beam, whatever's
The emitter.
Yeah.
You could try to. Let me see. What weapons do you guys have? You guys have the particle cannons.
Yeah.
So you could use the aft-facing particle cannons to try to shoot the emitter and knock it out.
We also have the gravity generator, so
Yeah,
that's what they're using on us. So maybe we could do something like that.
If Tongue can get down to the engine room, he can also generate a reverse field using the gravitic generator.
I can reverse the polarity, Captain.
All right. So why don't we both try and do our things just in case one of us fucks it up?
All right. I'll run down. So Tongue runs down to the engine room and tries to reverse the polarity on the gravitic field generator.
All right.
And I guess helm for shooting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm rigging.
Mine was a 4.
Mine was a 5.
All right. So that's the same level of success for each of you guys. I'm gonna
a little better.
I'm gonna say that it was Chris's thing had only a limited effect, but the gravitic generator would have been standard, and they were both risky. So here's what kind of happens. Between the fluctuations in the gravitic field that Tongue is able to generate using the generator that you guys have, and Yeast shooting at the emitter, it manages to short circuit and then overload the emitter, which explodes in spectacular fashion. So you see the entire station, the Isotropa Max prison, starts to drift just slightly in space as a huge debris cloud spreads out. And you see among the debris a couple of bodies that struggle helplessly for a moment and then go limp and just float. But you guys have escaped.
Whoosh.
So the Fire Drake activates its thrusters, and you guys zoom off.
Cool, man.
How
does healing work?
Well, before that happens, I would like to spend one more stress to tell my brain-fuckled guy, come with me, we have much to discuss. And then just take him and my other person off into some room.
Okay.
That will now be my web.
Okay.
Oh, man, I really wanted to make that guy be a pirate, too. Have the one guy that's like, I used to be a cop. What's going on?
All right, you know what? No, I'll take one of the prisoners instead. I'll just grab one of the prisoners with my power. Because either way, I'm going to hit my max stress and take a trauma. So I might as well do it now rather than in the middle of next session.
Yeah, you're ducking out.
I don't know about this. What sort of character gets shanghaied and becomes a pirate?
Isn't that how it used to work?
That's exactly how it works. I've made that character a couple times.
He helped us. He's on video helping us all over the place. He has no choice but to be a pirate now.
Yeah,
he can't go back. He's a good backup character in case one of us dies. You can always be like the nervous cop guy.
And in the meantime, he can clean the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna skip the first phase of the post job, payoff and upkeep. So you haven't really used the ship. So I'm not going to make you pay upkeep this round. You also didn't really steal anything from the prison. You just except for yourselves.
Yeah.
And some people.
And some people. What?
One of their guards.
Are you gonna you could ransom the guards and get some cred out of this, but that might be another job.
I don't think we're gonna ransom anyone.
Yeah, we'll keep them for now. We can always ransom them later.
I feel like it's better making them into pirates.
All right, so then let's move on to heat. So this is heat for the Breck system.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we were pretty sly about this. I feel like we got out without any kind of, issues.
Apart from sending the space station we were imprisoned off adrift.
And killing almost a dozen guards.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that you guys were at loud and chaotic, high exposure. But the explosion at the end pushed you over to wild, devastating exposure.
I feel like that's
I'm okay with this.
where we want to be.
That's fair.
That's about where this crew wants to be, so I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Add +2 heat for killing hegemonic citizens, massive property damage, illegal weapons use.
Yeah, we did all that.
You didn't demonstrate. You didn't damage a hyperspace lane, so that's good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Something to aspire to.
Yeah, so you guys are at wanted level 1 in the Breck system now, and you erase all of your heat.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, see? It's kind of like what I did with my stress. You just get to the next level and you get to erase it all.
See, we have no heat now.
Yeah, great. No heat.
So I'm just gonna make a note of that. All right.
Are we supposed to be writing this on one of our character sheets or?
No, I'm keeping track of it.
Okay, so we don't have. Okay, good. Because I couldn't figure out where.
It goes on the shift sheet.
Oh, it does.
Oh boy.
Weapons, engines, where?
What's the oh boy about?
I rolled for a complication. And
Cool.
I rolled a 6, so I roll on the table. It's 1 wanted level higher.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they don't like us at all.
No.
I can't imagine why.
I mean, it probably looks bad when like dangerous Xenos escape from your supermax space prison.
Yeah.
And they took a poor innocent human hostage with them.
They did.
2.
Were our red shirts? Are they humans or are they just like assorted alien goobers?
We can detail them. They can be whoever you like. We can like create them as background characters. I think one of them is probably going to end up being the Doctor.
I might play him next game. Since I've hit my trauma.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? You use that much stress?
Oh, yeah. Everything I do is like stress.
Because you're using your way abilities.
Yeah, if I had taken the basic starting ability for the Mystic, I could have used Gambit instead of Stress, but I did not.
Mm.
All right. So before we get to the complication, where are you guys going now? Now that you've escaped, there is. I'll point out a jungle planet in the Breck system where you guys are called Aketi, which is it's a good place to hide out and lay low if you want to go there, or you could try to get through a gate into another system.
Well, we just got a whole bunch of heat, right? Maybe the laying low is the way to go.
I agree. I'm just sort of checking out the system really quick.
Yeah. So the way this works is heat gets tracked by system. There are certain like special things that you can do that give you heat in every system, but for right now, you're just wanted in the Breck system.
Oh, maybe it is a good idea to leave then.
We could hide in the Bright Wind, but it's full of Echo Wave Riders that hate us.
No, we rescued one of them.
Yeah, you also did rescue one of their numbers. So.
Oh, we could go there. The Bright Wind, a large gas cloud ejected by the star, now used as racing grounds for Echo Wave Riders. It's lethal and illegal to run around over there. Oh.
So that's an option. You could try to hang out with the Echo Wave Riders because you did rescue one of them. You could go to Aketi. You could try to go through one of the gates back into the Iota system. You could go to Nightfall, which is named for the frequent eclipses caused by the planet's 13 moons. Their erratic movement make night only predictable by computer. The city of Yaw is nestled right where the days last between 2 and 12 hours each. It bustles with economic activity and is a frequent destination for tourists and traders. So you can go there if you want.
Do you guys want to go to a city or a jungle place?
Well, I think we should go to Bright Wind and drop off the woman we have anyway. So that's one less thing to worry about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
My vote's for Bright Wind.
Is this the woman that was calling to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta get something out of her too. A favor or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure that us rescuing her was in repayment for the favor we owed them.
Yeah.
Now us taking her to Bright Wind would be another favor to her. So what's the favor she's going to give us?
And I specifically told her that we were even after we opened the door to her cell, and then said if she wanted to get on our ship, she'd owe us.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the negotiator, so you guys can work that out. Tongue doesn't care, but one less person on the ship would probably be good, especially if it's just a breather.
All right. So the Echo Wave Riders do have a presence, out in the cloud, the Bright Wind. So I'll say they have a station out there. It's not much more than like a couple of docking spars and interconnecting corridors where they dock their ships, and a bunch of their smaller and more agile vehicles are docked there.
Like you said, they dock their ships,
Yeah.
So we could go there, kind of like pay and spray.
Basically, yeah.
All right, maybe that's what we can get out of her.
So, like, change the numbers on the ship. Well, I'll let you guys work that out with. Let's see, who could we? A second. Echo Wave Riders. we'll say that they're trying to gear up for a race through the bright wind. So the person who's in charge out there is Dom, who is an ex-starsmith and mechanic. So you guys catch up with him. Who's going to talk to him?
Not me.
I guess it could be me. I've got 2 in sway.
I'm currently eating a person, so.
Yeah, say Wiggles.
So
we'll just send him a video of you eating the person.
That's fine.
so you catch. Go ahead.
Whoever takes the video might also get eaten, but.
Do we get, if you have a level 1 harm, are you allowed to erase that now?
Yeah, you can clear level 1 harm as long as you do the downtime action. What is it?
Like, are we in that phase of the game?
Not just yet.
Okay, my mistake.
Hang on. Yeah, recover. You remove all level 1 harm. Roll the ship's crew quality -1 or crewmate's doctor ability. Advance your healing clock per level. So if you have more than a level 1 harm, you have to go get treated by a doctor. And you only clear it when your harm clock fills. But we'll get to that in a second. So you go up to Dom. Dom is looking over the specs of the engines of one of the craft that's going to be competing. The pilot is a plucky woman, blonde hair tied up in a bun. She looks like she's been working on engines for most of the afternoon, and she's like asking Dom if her craft is up to spec, and he's just kind of reviewing, the specs that she handed him. So he gives her the okay, and she floats away. There's not even gravity on this thing. And he catches sight of you and Jaina, Yeast. So what do you say to him?
Well, before we got up to him, I suppose me and Jana had a talk, right?
You can do that.
Yeah.
She basically tells you, you did give me a lift out of there. I'm not sure what Dom's going to say, but I think he might be a little bit hesitant to do anything more than call it even, depending on how you handle it.
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out then.
Well, let's go talk to him, see what he says.
Unless you want us to drop you back off at the prison.
I mean, if you wanna go take me back there, that's on you. I'll do what I can. You did get me out of there in one piece.
Okay, just remember that.
I'll let him know that you didn't kidnap me or nothing, and you weren't planning on holding me for ransom ever, that I know of.
Right.
I said that I know of.
And I said right.
All right, good. Just so we understand each other. So you guys float down the docking spar, and you come upon Dom, and he looks at Jaina, and he says, "Oh, you were in the prison break. It's all over the news."
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Yeah. I'd be careful if I were you. The hegemony cops are all over the place. The House Malclythe guards, especially, they're out for blood.
Yeah, about that. They are looking for a specific ship, and it would be real great if the ship we were riding around in didn't look like that ship anymore.
I mean, we definitely have the parts and the know-how to help you with that. Not so much since the last time we did you a favor. You left us high and dry.
Well, this time we came paying up front. We've returned your friend Johnny here. Upfront payment.
Well, considering you still owe us from the last time, I'd say that we really appreciate you bringing Jaina back and all, but you're square with the house, and safe to say, you run away with our upgrades once without paying us back. We're not going to do you a favor unless you cough up some cash.
Do we have cash?
Currently, you guys do not have any cred, I believe.
I think we have 2 cred for the ship.
Oh, that's right. You haven't spent the 2 cred. So he'll give you the upgrade. He'll give you the pay and spray for 1 cred. He'll have his crew give your ship the once over and make some modifications so that you're not easily discovered.
All right. What do you guys think? Should we just pay him?
Was that going to have what would the effect of that be within the game?
I think that would give you. Let me see.
Would that lower heat in some way, or?
I think the way it works is there's an 8 count clock on the system next to wanted. So I think that would tick down segments of the clock.
So just like the healing.
To dropping your
How many ticks would we get out of it?
I'd say 4.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or presumably that's worth a cred. I guess we'll find out. We do already have a major effect headed our way, but next one.
Yeah. So here's the other thing. As I think everybody gets 2 downtime actions. One of the downtime actions you can do is lie low. Reduce the heat and wanted level of a system you're not in. Oh, you have to do it in a different system. Say how you get the hegemony off your back and roll the action. Mark segments on the system's wanted reduction clock per level, depending on your successes.
All right, so we can't do that because we're still in the system, right?
Yeah, I would say though, if you go to Aketi and just land in, well, you already decided. So yeah, you can't lay low in Breck from the Breck authorities.
Well, we have 2. We each have 2 actions.
Yeah.
I have to use mine to get rid of stress. However, that's done.
Yeah, that's recover and indulge your vice. Excuse me, is get rid of stress.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Because I've got 4 stress. I'd like to clear that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty confident I'm really bad at losing stress, so this should be interesting.
So they are going to basically retrofit your ship to make sure that it doesn't match up the whole profile and the markings that it had when you escaped from the prison planet. So you'll be able to pass undetected. So the complication that I rolled is interrogation.
Wait, we're not reducing our stress?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
You guys have to deal with the complication first.
Gotcha.
So somebody gets picked up by the hegemony and roughed up. Who's getting captured?
Oh, shit.
Probably, if someone's getting captured, it's probably either me or Chris, because we're the most capturable.
I was the one that, got off the ship as well.
Yeah, I think Chris makes sense. Like some hegemon spies see him walking around and grab him.
All right. So you're talking to Dom about the ongoing retrofitting of your ship. You're headed down back to the Fire Drake from your meeting place. When you get grabbed by two hegemony cops in the green and black House Malclaith uniforms. So they like drag you into a small room, and much as it pains them to do it, we have reports. They turn on the HNN, the Hegemony News Network, and there's footage from the breakout. You see a hallway that just explodes, and people and objects get like flung out into space. They show it in graphic detail, like the aftermath. Not only did the guards that you guys shot up in the shuttle bay get killed, but a number of prisoners also were killed in the riot, and they killed a couple of other guards before the warden was able to put the riot down. And then they don't, however, have pictures or well, maybe no, they would because they would have booked you. The following prisoners were unaccounted for after the riot, and it flashes through hollow images of the four of you and the three that came with you. One of them turns off the hollow emitter and looks at you and says, That looks a lot like you, my friend.
Okay, so here's how I think I want to handle this interrogation.
Okay.
I am going to release control back to the child that I've been riding. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm still going to cling to his back, but he's going to have no idea what's going on. He's probably just going to cry a lot.
Okay.
And I'm just going to let them interrogate this kid that doesn't actually know anything about it. Because I'm going to, in my head canon, you can tell me if we can't do this, but when I'm controlling a person, it's just like anesthesia. They don't remember a goddamn thing that happened.
All right. So this kid's eyes well up with tears, and he's. You have to help me. I don't know. I don't know where I am. What's going on? Who are you? Why are you yelling at me? And they don't believe it for a second. So the mechanical effect of interrogation is either you pay them off with 2 cred, which you don't have,
right,
or they do level 2 harm to you.
Well, it doesn't sound like there's much of an option here.
Yeah. So we like the camera dollies
but you
out.
can't resist. Right?
The camera dollies out and like moves down the hallway as we hear the sounds of these 2 hegemony cops beating the hell out of a small crying child, because that's just god awful. And eventually one of them says, "Look, the kid doesn't know anything. Let's just let him go." And they kind of toss him out into the hallway.
Right, and that's right when I take control back over them.
All right. So on your sheet, you mark level 2 harm, beaten and bruised.
I'm just going to write interrogated.
Okay.
It says you can resist it.
You can.
Oh. So what was? Should I have rolled that then?
Yeah. So it's 6 stress minus your prowess roll, the highest die.
Prowess 6.
Okay. So I'm going to say that you get a level 1 harm instead, and that's going to be like scared and confused. Because even though it's the kid who's scared and confused and not you, you're still like plugged into his sensory apparatus.
Yeah, it's harder to control him because he's scared and confused.
Right.
Flooded with adrenaline.
And then after that, we move into downtime, which everybody gets 2 downtime actions. The options are you can either acquire an asset for your ship, something that you want to use in a future job. You can craft something if you roll rig or hack to build an item or something that you might need. You can indulge your vice. I'm guessing a lot of you are doing that.
Yeah.
You can lay low. You can start a long-time project. You can recover, which is to heal damage. You can repair to repair the ship, or you can train if you have enough XP to level up.
Where do we mark XP? Because I did something earlier, right? I rolled as a desperate act. I was supposed to mark something, and then I couldn't figure out where, and I forgot.
It's next to the resistance rating. Each one of them has like a small XP track.
To the right of him?
I believe so. Hang on. See, yeah, you see how it says prowess and there's a bunch of tick boxes?
Oh, I filled that in with how many. I filled that in for my prowess rating.
No, that's your XP track.
Oh, all right. Then I'll erase those, and I think that was for prowess before, so I'll put 1 there. Okay.
All right. So who is doing what?
Yeah, I'm going for my stress.
All right. So you engage in your vice and roll dice equal to your lowest attribute. Clear stress equal to the highest die result.
Wait, lowest attributes? Those are the top ones?
Yes.
So that's my prowess, so I roll 1 die. I got a 5.
All right.
I had 4 stress, so I overindulge, right?
So you make a bad call due to your vice in acquiring or while under its influence. What did you do? So what is your vice?
My vice is the Carrick's table.
Okay.
And he has no money, so he owes somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna owe someone some money.
All right. So who are you going into?
Who's on my thinking? Well, I'm already down. So Stev, a gambler of ill repute.
All right. So you start playing Carrick's with Stev, and you end up. Roll me a d6 divided by 2.
D6 divided by 2. That's a
Round
3,
up.
so 1?
That would be 2. You round up.
Oh, 2.
All right. So you owe Stev 2 cred.
All right.
But you clear all your stress. So that was 1 for Ton. Wiggles, you're doing your whatchamacallit action, correct? You're eating people.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I don't have any choice because I took all my stress, so I'm basically have to indulge my vice for my downtime.
Okay. And 2 any segments filled. Okay. So in that case, you roll to indulge your vice. In this case, eating people.
Actually, the sheet I sent you was slightly wrong. So my vice is preserving people for my goddess. So
I'm sorry. I thought you said that. Hang on. I was just looking at your weakness for your Xeno ability. This harm can be removed by gorging yourself on humanoids, a recovery downtime activity with victims available. Okay, so it's not a vice action. It's not indulge your vice. It's recovery.
No, but so because I took all of my stress, I think I have to indulge my vice. So that means I have to preserve people for my goddess.
Okay.
Then in order to recover from my weakness, eventually I'm going to have to basically recover. So I think I'm like next session I'm going to play maybe the doctor or a different character, maybe the cop.
Okay.
And during that session, I'll be recovering.
Gotcha. So you'll be eating people next time. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, what are you doing now? Are you going to indulge or are you going to recover?
I think I have to, and like the stress thing is, it says you have to basically bow out and start indulging your vice. So I'm finding people every once in a while. An echo wave rider is talking to someone, they turn around and check something out, and then they turn back around. The person they were talking to is gone. Yeah, and these weird cocoons start showing up in what used to be the small cargo bay, and now no one can go into without disappearing.
And you took a trauma, or?
Yeah, I took the trauma. You're not going to believe this one, but I took vicious.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not sure how I'll play that. I don't know.
That's going to be a stretch for this character, I know. All right, so in that case, if you hit your trauma level, I think you don't have to roll. You just indulge your vice and clear your stress, and next time you show up, you're just a little bit different. So that's what you're up to. Blort, how about you? What are you doing?
I am going to. I have two. Well, first of all, do I erase all the level 1 effects?
Yeah, you clear. Well, if you do the recovery action.
Oh, so you do have to recover those.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, first thing I'm going to do is indulge my vice, which is eating and sleeping. Now I have to roll my lowest of the 3 things, right?
Yes.
And I have a 0 in insight. Would that be a disadvantage 2d6?
Yeah. So you roll 2d6 and take the worst result.
Let's try that and see what we got. A 4.
All right. So bad. Yeah, so you clear 4 stress there. You had more than 4, so you don't overindulge? Great.
No, I didn't. I still have 2 left, but I think I'm just going to let that chill and recover.
All right. So Blort takes a nap, eats some food, feels better.
Nice. That worked out better than I thought it would with that disadvantage roll, honestly.
And then Yeast, you get 2 downtime actions.
So was one of the things I could do getting rid of this scared and confused?
Yeah, if you recover.
All right.
So basically, you need to do something to. You just clear all level 1 harm when you recover.
I don't have to roll anything. I just come up with what it is that my character does to recover.
Yeah. If you have level 2 harm, then you have to see the ship's doctor, or just roll with your crew quality, whatever medical supplies you have on hand.
All right. I'm going to say that I absorb nutrients from my host to heal myself. Although that doesn't really work because it's really the problem, right?
Yeah.
You give him nutrients.
Here's what I'll do. I'll just swap hosts. I'll put the one that's scared and confused to bed and start riding around.
On the other one.
I think I was the purple one before, so I'll be green now.
Okay. You don't even know their names. They're just purple and green.
That's right. Well, I guess I would know their names because I have access to their brain, but I don't like to get too attached. And then I guess for the other one, to relieve stress, I have to indulge in my vice, which I made sharing information with other brain slugs. Are there any other brain slugs I could share information with?
Yeah, there are some around. Your
Then
people,
yeah, I'll do that.
your people are really good at hiding themselves, so I'm sure there's got to be one or two who are, one or two people who are being ridden by these things.
All right, so we meet up somewhere. We put our two bodies to sleep for a little bit. We roll up into a little ball and inject each other with the things that we slide into the spines of our victims, and we share our information.
All right. So roll your lowest attribute, and we'll see how much stress you clear.
That's the thing that I was filling in where experience was before, right?
Yes, the number of pips to the left of those little lines.
Yeah. So the thing that I thought went where experience was. 5. The
5.
higher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
And did you have more than 5 stress?
I had 2 stress.
Okay, so you also overindulge.
Okay.
So you clear your stress, but you make a bad call, or you go too far when indulging your vice. So what did you do?
Okay, so I'd say usually we would just share information about the people we've been riding, or things that we found out about other things. But I overindulge and share things about myself.
Okay. So I'm going to say that, putting that out there adds some heat to you guys in this system, because now there's another brain slug out there. So you guys have 1 wanted, and I'm going to say 2 heat.
And we filled in 4 of our partial circles to healing the 1 heat, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that doesn't go away until we fill it up?
Yeah, you're healing the 1 wanted level.
Oh, wanted. Okay. And the heat, once it gets to a certain point, adds to the wanted level?
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Overfills into the second track.
Okay.
And basically, the more wanted level you have, the bigger the response is if you happen to, square off with the hegemony or the authorities. And the more dire the complications become. And I think, Akos, you get 1 more downtime action for
Yeah.
because you only did 1.
I'm trying to figure out what I want to. I want to start some kind of project, but I don't know what it is.
Build yourself a workshop or a workshop on the ship, and then you'll get bonus rolls in the future for building it.
Yeah, that's a good project.
All right. So I'll say that is going to be a 6 clock.
All right. Build workshop.
So you start that long-term project. So you tell me what action you're doing to start, collecting supplies, or building a section of the shuttle bay or something where you can work, and then you roll for it and tell me.
Yeah. So we're still in the racing people place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to source some materials, get tools and workbenches and all that fun stuff that I'm gonna need for a workshop.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that I'm not getting ripped off. So I want to use rig to make sure that the stuff I'm getting is going to work and it's going to fit in the space, and it's not just going to fall apart as soon as I get it on the ship.
Okay. Are you spending any money to do this?
I don't have any money, so.
All right. So you're just kind of collecting whatever you can, using your rig to make sure that it's.
So maybe you know what? Instead, since I don't have money to buy stuff yet, I think the first step is I'm going to instead of buying supplies with money I don't have. I'm going to start clearing out a space on the ship.
Okay.
And like so I'm still going to use a rig to make sure that like I will be able to install tools here and that there'll be space for, you know, workbenches and the stuff I'm going to need.
Right.
But I have to make sure I have a place to put everything before I start actually buying stuff.
Cool. All right, so go for it.
That's a 3.
Okay. So it doesn't go. There's only so much you can do without, you know, buying some supplies. You can definitely clear yourself a space and make sure there's enough space and areas to store things. But it doesn't get you much closer. You fill in one segment of the clock.
All right. Well, I have my ability when I work on a clock with rig or hack, or when I study a schematic, I fill +1 segment.
All right. So then you fill 2 segments. Yeah. So you're about a third of the way there.
Yep.
Assuming that you
space on the ship. Now I just need to find stuff to put in it.
All right.
Oh, also, Yeast wakes up one morning to find a desiccated husk of a humanoid outside of their cabin doors.
I don't know what I do about that.
Is there a note on it?
I mean, it's covered in web.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well then I'll go see about it.
When you open Oz doors, it's just a completely dark, cavernous whatever room they ended up in.
Wiggles?
Occasionally you hear fairly loud skittering. Giant.
I hear you in there.
No response.
Well, it is my ship. Can I turn the lights on in there? Wait. I saw what happens when you turn the lights on around him. No. All right. Well, Wiggles, I hear you in there. I think you left a corpse in front of my door. Not something I appreciate.
Wait, you said not something you appreciate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just hear silence.
Well, if you could maybe get rid of that for me instead of leaving it in front of my door, really appreciate that. Maybe not doing it again in the future would be great. Since I know you can hear me, I'm going to take your silence as an agreement for now. Good talk. And then I'll close the door. Walk away.
All right. Anybody?
Wiggles will take that as an indication that was just too big for the child to handle. So from now on, they'll leave pre-chewed bits of humanoid flesh in front of the door.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Do you get rid of the corpse for me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
I mean, if you're not going to eat it, you might as well.
Yeah. I'm thinking if it's pre-chewed bits, I might just let it dissolve in my slug. Maybe I'll appreciate that.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to remember. I'm the index in this book is just horrible. There are a couple of end of session questions in this system, right?
Oh, I believe they're on the bottom of the sheets here.
Are they on the character sheet?
Yep.
Yeah, at the very bottom. Playbook example.
So every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP in that attribute. At the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 XP in your playbook or an attribute, or 2 XP if that item occurred multiple times. So they might be different for each one. but
Yeah,
my
they are.
All right. So I will let you guys go and mark your XP off mic. But if there's nothing else that people want to accomplish this session, do we have any idea of what we might like to do in the future from here? So right now you guys are safe-ish docked at the docking station in Bright Wind. You are the heat is on in the Breck system, but you don't have to stay here, so you can try to go through one of the gates. You can try to look for work here.
I think we should get out of Breck.
We should get out of Breck, but we should like hit like a caravan on our way out.
Oh, that's right. We're pirates.
Yeah, we're pirates and we're broke.
We need a score. We need to like gain cred.
Yeah, we need money.
And I don't
All
want
right.
to do a job, you know, unless it's like do a job.
Well, pretty much anything could be a job. Like getting through the Iota gate could be a job, you know, without getting noticed or boarded or anything like that. Since it is like a choke point. In order to leave the system, you have to go through it, and it is under the control of the Starsmiths Guild, who you fucked over to get your hull augmentations, I think.
Oh, wow.
Um,
I don't think
we
we messed
fucked
with
over
them.
the Maelstrom.
We didn't screw
that's
them
right.
over. We just owe them one.
That's right. I forget you guys did. You screwed over the Starsmiths Guild to get something.
We did. I thought we screwed over the Echo Wave Riders.
That's my thinking.
You screwed over both of them. Because you in the ship creation, you either pay off one faction or screw them over. In the systems, when you're assigning your systems points, and then there are two more factions. One of them likes you, and that was the Maelstrom you guys picked, and the other one was the Echo Wave Riders. So it was either the hull augmentation or the landing bay that you screwed over the Starsmiths Guild for.
Okay.
I forget which one it was. I think it might have actually been the gravitic generator that you screwed them over for.
We got the gravitic generator we got off the Echo guys, and we stiffed them.
Yeah.
The Maelstrom gave us the shuttle bay, but we owe them. And that's everything I have written down.
We started with the shuttle bay. Oh, no, we didn't. No, we started
you did not.
Never mind. We started with the shuttle, not the shuttle bay.
And also the particle cannons. I thought that the Maelstrom gave you guys the particle cannons.
Those came with the ship.
With the particle cannons.
Did they? No, they didn't.
Didn't they?
It came with the ship. It was one of the pre-filled things.
Oh.
We got our upgrades were the
gravitic generator and the landing bay.
The gravitic generator.
Well, you guys chose to upgrade something. Hang on a second. Oh no, it was a hull upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, which gave us the shuttle bay.
Yeah, but I'm saying there are three things that you upgraded. You bought a second point of hull so that you could get the landing bay, because you're only allowed to have the number of upgrades that you have as
right. Well, we had 2 points to spend, and then we had 2 cred to buy upgrades, right?
No. You can choose to spend the cred to buy upgrades, but they're two separate things. The first, what I'm saying is there are 3 factions involved. The first, with the ship systems creation, you hang on a second. Where is it? Crew creation. So when you're assigning those points to like hull, weapons, comms, or engines.
Yeah.
there's one faction. Either you pay them off, you owe them one, or you stiff them.
Oh.
So that was I think the Echo Wave Riders, and you chose to stiff them. Then the second one, when you assign your upgrades, one faction helped you get an upgrade. They like you and you get +1 status with them. At your option, spend 1 cred to repay their kindness and take +2 status with them instead. So that was the Maelstrom. You guys got the landing bay from them. And you chose to not pay them off, so they only get 1 status with you. And then the other faction was screwed over when you got an upgrade. They don't like you, and you get -2 status with them, which was the Starsmiths Guild. At your option, spend 1 credit to modify them, take -1 status with them instead. You chose not to.
Okay.
All right, that's not a problem.
So does that mean we got 3 upgrades? We were supposed to get 3 upgrades?
No, 2 upgrades.
The first 3 points we spent were the upgrades.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. I think we were like right at the end when you did that, the -2 to the Starsmith Guild, and we kind of were just like, okay, sounds good, and then
nobody except me made a note of it.
Or it was one of the many things that I just didn't hear because my connection was shitty.
Well, anyway, if you want to, we can. I can like make up a caravan for you guys to hit on your way to the gate, and we can do that next time. I think
so it looks like. Sorry, it looks like Nightfall and Shemaya both have 2 wealth notches. Maybe we can hit something around there.
All right. Well. I'm gonna play this pretty much the way that it's suggested is I follow your lead. So you guys tell me like what you're interested in doing, and I roll with it. So it's very like prep light. But if you give me kind of a lead on what's going on next time, I can at least like consult with the GM's tables and flesh out the job a bit more.
Yeah, I'm good with hitting a caravan. Let's try some piracy with our pirate ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Like that.
Cool. So in that case, I guess you guys, if you want to mark off your XP off mic, I will give you all a nomination though to spend either on one of your attribute XP tracks or your whatchamacallit.
Advancement.
Yeah, playbook.
I'm going to nominate Chris for getting out of his interrogation by just letting a terrified child take over for a few minutes.
I will nominate Alex for destroying the doors and also helping us get out of the tractor beam.
I'm going to nominate Mike for jumping into the fray over and over again.
Yeah, mine's going to Steve for that, the guy that he cubed.
Resident Evil lasered.
Yeah, basically. Cored him like an apple.
Yeah. All right. So then I'll take us out. Thanks for listening, everyone. Anyone have any final will thoughts?
I'm hungry.